Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Hotseat, a wireless design and development interview series where we talk about the latest wireless technologies, components, and design issues for the wireless design engineering community. Today we are speaking with Roger Dewey, Executive Vice President for Device Cloud Networks, or DCN. Roger is a longtime participant in the wireless telecommunications industry and came on board DCN from M2MV LLC, where he was Managing Director for the international M2M business and strategy consulting firm. Prior to starting M2MV, Roger held the position of President and CEO of Telit Americas from May 2006 through September 2008, where he launched and led Telit Wireless Solutions' entry into the Americas M2M marketplace, focusing the company's efforts on the telematics, fleet management, and automatic meter reading industry sectors. He established legal and operational entities in the United States and Brazil, along with extensive channel development throughout the region. While in this post, Roger was recognized for the second time as an industry pioneer by M2M Magazine, since renamed Connected World in the spring of 2008. From October 2001 until April 2006, Roger held various executive positions at Sony Ericsson's M2M Com business unit, including Vice President of the Americas and Vice President of Global Business and Product Strategy. He was the key strategist in Sony Ericsson's divestiture of the business unit, resulting in a successful acquisition by Wavecom in April of 2006. During his tenure at Sony Ericsson, Roger was honored with the prestigious Telematics Leadership Award presented by Telematics Update magazine in May of 2005, as well as being recognized by M2M Magazine for its inaugural award of Industry Pioneer in the spring of 2004. Previous to his roles at Sony Ericsson, Roger was located in Stockholm, Sweden, holding the position of Vice President and General Manager, Marketing and Sales for Ericsson's Mobile Internet Applications business unit. While at Ericsson, he had global marketing and sales responsibilities for all of Ericsson's mobile internet applications and infrastructure platforms. Today, Roger will be discussing DCN's global end-to-end enablement platform for enterprise machine-to-machine solutions. For my first question, Roger, can you provide some background information on Device Cloud Networks and discuss some of the company's goals?
Sure. Device Cloud Networks, we're a startup company. We've been in business since 2012, and we're focused on the Internet of Things and the machine-to-machine technology space. Our position in the space is around horizontal enabling services. So the services that we have help almost any application, any vertical, get to market much quicker and manage the communications globally in a very simplified manner, particularly if it's mobile communications. We kind of veil the complexity of having to deal with different mobile network operators around the world and make the experience much more like the traditional wired internet for OEMs and enterprises.
And what is the subscriber identity module, or SIM, from DCN, and how is it changing the M2M marketplace?
You'll see it in your handset. If you have a GSM or LTE phone, that's that little plastic chip that the operator provides to you to stick in the phone to give you a subscription. So as far as the operator is concerned, that is the device. They don't really care in the end what phone you have or device, because the SIM is what binds you to the operator. But that's a plus for them, but maybe a minus for you. Okay, while you might have some freedom, in the world of machine-to-machine, that becomes a really big problem, because you want to build machines centrally in one location around the world, and you want to ship them anywhere in the world. It becomes a production problem if you have to know up front, well, this batch of machines are going to this country, so they have to get these SIM cards, and these other 2,000 over here get a different batch of SIM cards. Because at that point, each one of those machines ends up having its own part number, its own specific number tied to a country, because it's tied to the operator that'll be used. So it becomes a manufacturing and logistics issue for global deployments of the Internet of Things and machine-to-machine. And to just go a little step further, it becomes an IT issue also, because that enterprise or OEM has an application that's running over the top of the communications layer, and that has to be bound at some point to that subscription, which means that that application then has to be integrated to a provisioning and device management platform for each operator also. So instead of the experience that you have with the internet, the traditional wired internet, where you just build one version of a product, ship it anywhere in the world, plug it in the wall, and it works. You have all these other IT and manufacturing issues that are caused because it's the mobile internet.
What makes SIM unique from other platform solutions available on the market?
That's DCN's very purpose, is that we are working to kind of veil that complexity and free up enterprise and OEMs, make it look much more like a traditional wired internet scenario. So our SIM card, we actually control a mobile network operator out of Iceland, so we are a licensed operator. And what we do is we give you one of two form factors on a SIM card. I don't know if you can see that. That's a traditional form factor that would go in your phone. And this is called an MFF2 for machine-to-machine technology. And that gets flow soldered on the board at time of manufacture. So whatever machine you're shipping, it comes out of the factory with the SIM already in it, and then you still have the issue of, well, what about the subscriptions? So every one of our SIM cards starts off with an Icelandic subscription in it, a DCN Icelandic subscription, and our platform and technology, along with our SIM card, allows you to change the subscription over the air once the machine is shipped and deployed to make it a local subscription. So again, everything comes out of the factory with an Icelandic subscription. When you turn it on in the country of deployment for the first time, over there, it updates it to make it a valid local subscription in that country.
Does SIM have any limitations? If so, what are they?
Right now, we're removing limitations. The only limitation we have on our platform and our SIM is the cooperation of other mobile network operators. So if we're going to update a subscription over the air, of course, we need the permission from that operator to be allowed to update it. Now, of course, that's business for that operator. So most operators are very happy to say, well, that's great. I'll give you my subscriptions to put on your platform so you can update them over the air to your customers. But actually, some operators don't like the whole concept, particularly the really, really large operators, what are known as the tier ones, who work across several different countries. They don't want customers even talking to us, because if it can be updated to change the Icelandic subscription to make it local, it can be changed again in the future. So what they'd rather do, have you as a customer put their SIM card in at time of manufacture, and then you're stuck with it. So that's the limitation. The limitation is the current business model and current business practices of the supply side of M2M connectivity, which are the world's mobile network operators. And like I said, the more competitive operators, maybe in a marketplace, are open to it. It's the real giants who lock in their customers, who are right now looking at us a little bit like, well, you guys are disruptors. And yeah, we are disruptors. We admit that, and we embrace it totally.
So do you have any kind of strategy set in place for those bigger operators to kind of convince them that this is a good idea, and not only will it help their business, but it would be a kind of like a good decision for them to partner with you?
What we're doing is we're executing a demand side strategy. So if you look at these operators as the supply side, they control the terms of the market and the business models and the way they're going to engage the marketplace. We've shifted the rules and architected the solutions in such a way to shift power to the demand side. So if you aggregate that demand and you get enough people on the demand side who say, no, this is wrong, we want it in a different way, the operators will start to have to shift into that new model. And the example I always use with people who are outside of my industry, and it might be a little esoteric, is that this is a lot like, the early days of MP3 music or files. The supply side controlled the business terms. Record companies decided which bands got signed, which songs went on an entire album, and how you bought them at record stores or Walmart. And then you came along with technology that could disrupt that model, being an MP3 player. And then you have people like, startups, disruptors. Napster comes in and says, yeah, we're going to do this. But the existing supply side control doesn't go easily. They fight back, like they did with Napster, going and suing them. But then you get enough of a tipping point at the demand side. And the tipping point for music was really iTunes. You had all these people with iPads, iPods, iPhones. And then, hey, there's all that demand out there that can then buy music in a different way off that iStore. And that caused the flip. So we are moving out with the larger enterprises, larger global OEMs, so that they are telling the current suppliers that we want to source connectivity in the new model, not in your old model that you control. And we are working with some very, very large players right now to make that happen.
Well, that was my final question for you today. Is there anything else that you would like to comment on or add to the conversation that you think is important for our viewers to know, especially about what DCN is doing with the SIM?
I think our technology, besides being disruptive, will really help the entire industry and the entire concept of the Internet of Things, because right now the complexity that I talked about in manufacturing and all these different points of interconnection mean that it can really only be deployed by the largest companies, the world's largest companies that have a big IT department and can handle multiple different manufacturing methods or restaging through the distribution chain. And that leaves out guys in a garage who are dreaming and have a great application and then are stuck because, wow, we have this application, and in our market, maybe they're in a small market like Switzerland or something like that, and they can be successful in that one market. But once they have to start handling multiple different versions of the product and multiple interconnects, they can't scale because they can't bear it on their business model. What we're doing is enabling companies like that to not even have to think about it. Just, one SIM, one point of interconnection, global addressable market. And I think really what we're going to do is, only 2% of the world's machines are currently connected. And what we're doing is we're unleashing power to the demand side that's out there of the 98% that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for a sane, simple, cost-effective solution. And that's where we're moving.
I would like to take this time to thank you, Roger, for joining us on this week's episode. For WDD, I'm Megan Zimba, and I'll see you next time in the hot seat.